BBC Radio 1 Extra Sunday lunchtime, and I have some very, very special guests in the studio. They are V-Rocket International, and they have a movie out. A Sound System Dynasty is now out as a movie, and it's on Amazon. So get loaded up and find out all about it. The reason I brought them down is for the two reasons. Primarily because they are going to be our resident sound system this week. It's a feature we started at the beginning of the year, whereby we invite top sounds from around the world and the UK to come and feature their biggest dub plates in the mix. Now, I can't mix a cake, but these guys can mix, and they will mix. But I'm talking to founder members Valerie, Lady V, and Parliament. It's so good to have you here. It really is. I'm so excited because I'm finally going to get to hear all of your dub plates, because I know you got some squeechy ones that you keep under wraps that no one's allowed to hear, like Wailing Souls dubs that you never play, but we know you got them and stuff like that. So, Valerie, first of all, how does it feel to have this movie out?
Oh, enough respect, David. Thanks for having us. It's tremendous. It's been in the making since 2019, just before the pandemic, just at the beginning of the pandemic. And to see it finished and for the response that we're getting, it's amazing, fantastic.
So no spoilers, Parliament, but you can give us some of it, because, if someone gets murdered at the end in a sound system slaying, you're going to keep no spoilers, but essentially, Parliament, please clarify for the listeners around the world and here in the UK, what is the essence of this movie, V-Rocket International, A Sound System Dynasty? What's the essence of it?
It's the essence. Thanks for having us, David. The essence of the documentary is to relate where we started out as a sound system, and to express the work over the years, the connections with other sounds and promoters and artists, studio work, and to tell a story of how we, V-Rocket, became V-Rocket and where it came from and where we are now.
Well, it's been an incredible journey, and most people have seen the trailer. Of course, there was a preview, members only and VIPs only in Nottingham recently, for people to go and see the film. And we're all eagerly looking forward to seeing it, of course. But before the film and before the VHS and before DVDs, you were a sound system from Nottingham. Now, did you feel in those days that because you were from the provinces, that you weren't as tough as these big rude boys in London? Was there ever that feeling?
Of course, because
Boasty London sound boys.
Yes, right? when we used to travel to Jamaica to voice dub plates, for instance.
Now, hang on. Before you go any further, there were people voicing dub plates. How do you voice a plate? It's this terminology. So, Valerie, please, for listeners who've got no idea what we're talking about, what is a dub plate?
Well, a dub plate is where you have your unique, your artist perform a song that is unique to your sound.
So they sing about you, they put your name in it?
Absolutely, yes.
So you used to go to Jamaica, back to the story then, about Boasty London Sound Boys. You used to go to Jamaica and
a lot of times the artists then used to say it was just a London thing. So when they're bigging up the sound in the intro, they would automatically think all sounds was from London.
And they weren't.
Of course they weren't. No. I mean, let's just, off the top of our heads, Parliament, what would be some of the sound systems that you would immediately think of historically as being important sound systems in the UK that were not from London? Top of your head.
Yeah, sounds such as ourselves, V-Rocket, Quaker City from Birmingham. Yeah, several Birmingham sounds. Duke Alloy.
Duke Alloy, yeah. And there was a big sound from Manchester, Stereophonic.
Stereophonic,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Outside of London, in Nottingham, you had a sound that was going on well in the early days. Clifton, Hi-Fi, but
Jungle Man out of Birmingham.
Jungle Man out of Birmingham. And I should add here, and I think we'll all agree, is that there are many sound systems that didn't reach the second division or the first division or the Premier League of sound system, but they were party sounds. They had boxes, they had they had amps.
I can name a couple. Soprano B back in the days from London here. The Eunice back in the early 80s. They were very good sounds.
Yeah,
back
entertaining
then.
sounds.
Entertaining, juggling party sounds. Yeah. You know, then you got the bigger guys such as Fat Man, King Tubbies.
Coxsone, yeah.
Coxsone.
Yeah, all the big sounds.
Unity.
Unity.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So there you were up in Nottingham. When was the sound founded? Tell us the background, because when I first heard of V-Rocket, I thought this is V-Rocket from Jamaica. V-Rocket. But Valerie, paint the picture.
Yes, well, 1964, my late parents came to the UK, and they started a 50-watt component set that would entertain the local community. Those days, black people couldn't get into clubs and venues, so they had to create their own entertainment. Yeah. So the name V-Rocket came about from the fact that they used to listen to V-Rocket, the Jamaica V-Rocket, in their younger days. So it was a no-brainer when they started this set. It had to be called V-Rocket.
Yeah.
In the way that we support a football team and we call ourselves, after a football team or whatever. Or yeah, exactly. And or artists name themselves after film stars, and so on and so forth. So they took the name of a famous sound system, and
Absolutely.
they were playing in house parties, and that was in the early 60s.
Yeah.
Early 60s.
So Parliament, who were the founding members of the sound?
At the time when I came around, it was Valerie's father and mother, and then you had a younger brother, Babsy, her older brother, and Leslie, Joe, and there were a number of other gentlemen around it. Skippy, he was the selector when I and Ruben joined. He taught us a lot, He was a no-nonsense, playing his music.
What's the essence of being a popular sound system?
Just do your job right, and
dedication.
Buy your music, dedication,
Entertain the people.
Entertain the people. That's
Yes.
what we've been doing all these years.
So you have a couple of young gentlemen with you, a very, very young gentleman over here.
Yes.
Tell us who they are and what do they do, and we'll bring them over on the mic in a moment.
Well, as things went by, David, we wanted to, this is why it's the dynasty. We wanted to let the longevity last. So we brought in Belly, which is Parliament's son, and Val B.
Two of them.
And I just hang on, because I'm just looking to my producer here, because we'll swap, and then we'll talk to them, and then we'll go to the mix. Okay. So I'm just thinking out loud now. We've spoken about the film, obviously, and how people can view the film. Okay. So Val B and Belly, stand by, because you are going to play some of your top dub plates. Only you've all gone digital. We've all gone digital.
Yes.
So everything comes on a stick now or on a laptop. But historically, you have to be able to tell us what were the most memorable moments of clashing for you as a sound system, and what was the first big clash?
Right. The first big clash for me was the first time we played Saxon at the Rock City in Nottingham, if I remember right.
And what year was that? Can you remember the year?
Before we went to Jamaica, that would have been about
Early
83.
80s. I would say 80s. Yeah,
83,
80s.
about
80s.
83. And that night, Muslim brought the entire crew.
And the sound,
And the
physically,
sound,
because that's
yeah.
the other thing we need to clarify for listeners.
Yeah.
A sound system back in the day. And
we'd string up on our own set. They'd be on their sound system.
each sound would have its own sound.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we'd have our own
And
sound.
entertainers, DJs and singers.
Yeah, and that was the very first clash we had with Saxon at Nottingham Rock City, and it did deliver that night. But we felt good about the night because we did a lot better than we expected and got a lot more
Which is great.
feedback as doing well, coming up against the biggest sound in England.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time.
I mean, let's be quite clear. When Saxon bust out, they bust out big time. Absolutely. So that was the first big clash?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
after that, lots of other clashes followed. But we'll be here all day.
So, Valerie, you once said, and I quote you, I would buy dubs before I put food on the table sometimes. I would go hungry.
Yes.
You're a complete addict, aren't you? There's no hope for you. is there?
Absolutely.
Tell her
Absolutely,
about it,
David.
David.
Jamaica was my second home. So I used to travel. First of all, I'd leave the UK and I'd travel to America, to New Jersey, to Transco that sold the plates.
Is that where you went? You actually went to Transco to buy the plates?
We used to buy the plates, 25 in a box.
You're nuts.
And
Much cheaper.
and fly to Jamaica, and I used to live in the studios. I started back in the days of cutting dub plates from Channel 1, Maxfield Avenue, with when Kim and his brothers was running it.
Yeah.
Late Squingy was
with the
engineer
wet
at that
look-
time.
wet look,
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, dub plates was my passion.
And we should clarify here that originally dub plates didn't even have to have your name in it.
No.
They were just different mixes of
Absolutely.
songs.
Of songs that have
that's
come out
mixed
on
different.
release.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. They'd be mixed down in a dub fashion.
That could only be played by your sound.
Yes.
Okay, so it's time to bring in the young gentlemen who are going to mix and blend some of the dubs. So if we just pause, we do. Young Billy, what did you learn from your father, Parliament?
You know what? Growing up in a music household with a sound system, I learned a lot. The songs, I learned a lot of the history about the clashes of the sound systems, which sound got killed, which sound got the better of them. So the whole history really from my father, from my uncle and the elder them around the sound.
And this young man sitting next to you, how did you and him meet up?
So Val's my brother, man. He came over to the country 99 from Jamaica.
99.
Obviously that time, the late 90s, early 2000s, transition from the one deck, two decks came in, and it was more of a juggling thing. The clash thing kind of slowed down for V-Rocket, and Val came from Jamaica, as I said, and we just clicked from there.
Val, who were you admiring in Jamaica? Which sound systems were you in awe of, perhaps?
Sounds like the most famous one was Super T.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing Super T. When I play Super T, I get to play all the big sounds
All right, so where was Super T based? Which town?
in Portmore,
out there.
Independent City.
Okay. And which sounds did you particularly enjoy playing with? Who did you feel put you to the test?
Bodyguard,
Yeah, they're Bodyguard a fearful sound. Yeah.
Bass Odyssey.
Bass Odyssey, of course.
What would say again? Another. There was some little small sounds and like some sounds you don't really hear much about, but gives us a bit of work. Canon, you know, if you heard about them sounds. Leeds Unlimited.
Leeds Unlimited. That's
Super D versus Super T.
Yeah.
It was work. Kilimanjaro as well.
The mighty Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, what do you think the future of clash culture holds for us? Because there's talk about, clash is dead, it's over, it's finished, but we need to clarify that World Clash, that was the last World Clash, but that wasn't, as Chin rightly said and Valerie rightly said, that wasn't the end of clash culture. It was just the last World Clash, because like any, season of a hot film or a hot television show, it has its seasons, like The Wire, season 1, season 2, and then it comes to an end. That doesn't mean there won't be other TV shows. So looking to the future, what do you see the future holds? What do you see in the future for clash culture?
For me, the history of sound clash is so huge, and there's people like myself who love the industry, love the culture, many sounds. I don't want to name anyone, but there's many sounds and many young people, myself, between their 20s and their 30s who love the culture. Dub plates are always being voiced. Artists always going to need to be fed and feed their family. So, I mean, I understand people saying, oh, it's the last and Clash is dying out, but no, there's a whole nother generation of people who want to get involved in it, who want to do it. And it's not just about the dub plates. You know, you've got the 45 clashes, the big industry clashes, Red Bull clash, all of these things. So there's so many different things going on, and it's not going to die.
And they have young sounds coming through where they're afraid of the big dinosaurs them, so you have to give them chance to come through and prove themselves as well.
And that's my point, that there should now be a culture whereby old dub plates can't be played. I think sometimes that should be looked at in terms of how clashing takes place. That you have a clash and the whole emphasis is on new music, current music. Vintage dubs are not allowed.
Yeah.
It would be interesting because then that would level the playing field, would it not?
It would, definitely. One thing I got to say about clashing, it's not cheap. The dub plates, this is crazy. The amount
the artists,
it's very sticky, but we love it, so we find it where we can.
Well, that's true. I mean, there's a criticism that's been levelled in recent times at the cost of some of these artists.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because, you know, I mean, realistically, back in the day, dubs were not that expensive. You could, you know, go to Jamaica with a suitcase of dosh and you come back with a load of dubs that were worthwhile and you play for years to come.
Yeah.
Now you go with a suitcase of cash and it's done with one artist.
There we go.
Worse still if you come from Japan. They want to charge you even more money.
And they give you attitude with it as well.
Yeah, because you're from English, you're British.
Pay your money or shut up.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, gentlemen, lovely talking to you. It's time for the dub plates to spin. We'll let the music do the talking. You're going to be our reggae resident for this month here on BBC Radio 1 Extra. I eagerly anticipate taking that stick off you before you leave and transferring all your key dubs. Listen, I'm as excited as anybody else is because I know you got some stuff up your sleeve because Valerie's over there chuckling and laughing and Parliament's like, I don't know what you're going to get because I want to hear that Wailing Souls, some call it water horse.
I know.
A V rocket. I want to hear those dubs. Okay, so gentlemen, over to you.
Nottingham, there is a sound who plays the brightest sound. This sound that plays the sweetest of this sound has its own name. The Rocket, it's a the number one sound. Talk of the town, no other sound can take it to come around. Lord of mercy. In Nottingham, there is a sound who plays the brightest sound. We play the dub for everyone. We play like champion sound. We rock it, make the people gather round. We are the talk of the town. We have to wear the crown, yeah. Way down in Nottingham where we live, a lot of vibes to the people they give. Enough requests to the V-Rocket massive. When we come and dance, we well active. Hear me now. In Nottingham there is a sound who plays the brightest sound.
Where there my grandson Michael used to got me for.
Stanny ahoy, Stanny ahoy, Stanny ahoy. I love the rocket and a champion sound. I love the rocket and a champion sound. I love the rocket 'cause you run it red, Stanny ahoy. I love champion sound. He's the only sound in town, standing high. The other sound them, I come around sound, standing high. Whoa, whoa. The only sound can release so much don't play it, standing high. And when him drop it, the pre-release say the jump and die. Standing high, I love V-Rock.
This is V-Rock, the only sound that plays sweet music. And the sound test of a short circuit. Easy baller, ragamuffin hugger. Ruben down myself, I am the king, Dennis Brown. Come down fast.
Daddy, yeah. Whoa, yeah. The rocket will always be my sound for life. Ooh, yes. The rocket will always be my sound for life.
Champions all the time.
Ooh, yes. I said it give me joy and happiness, and I feel good all over. Love and happiness, so a sound must get turned over. The rocket will always be my sound for life.
Now second little pretty. You're so called London digital. You hold tight, man. Car you're big enough, Nottingham pass, you hold tight. London pass, you save.
Yeah, man. V-Rocket, man, the heavyweight sound, man. Go on now. Go on, doggy. Go on now. All right. Hey, rocket with me, rocket every target. Every target. Every target. Rocket with me, rocket every target. Every target. Every target. Across the bridge, there will be no sorrow. The sun will shaggy hoggy, and there will be a better tomorrow. Go on now, go on now, go on, Reggie, go on, Reggie, all Reggie, amazing Greggy Huggies, how sweet the song that a savory, a rich like me. I was once lost, but now I am found. I was drunk, never singing. Now
this is the original Dandara Jabanuela, telling you that only one sound in the universe, the whole wide world can play this sample, and it's effective. Because this sound has been around for so long, and all of the little sound has got to come to the feet and learn from this one. You hear? So the V-Rocket come for ram down soul. Be boy! So the V-Rocket come for room den mall. Galang, 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 galang. So the V-Rocket come for ram down soul. Do one test sound boy. So the V-Rocket come for rule den mall. V-Rocket been ruling down soul ever since you were a child. So don't come try and dictate to V-Rocket about down soul style. East, west, north, and south, it is he who rules the land. He plays original style while others play version. He's wounded many a sound called King Kong, son of a gun. Many more did come and many more had to run. So I'll advise you try not to get in his way. You won't be defeated cause you'll never play what V-Rocket play. So the V-Rocket come for ram down soul.
Rocket sound, man, officially. I feel a little better. The rocket sound is playing. Officially. I feel a little easier, and everyone is saying. Officially. They say they know it is real. This time I know. Officially. I told you how I feel. Another sound boy's got to go. But if you wanna wield the crown, you got to be official. Compress!
I wanna tell you something. It's no Joe, it's true now. He had sound is a disgrace to V-Rocket sound in the lawn. Dibby sound up to hold them corner. When V-Rocket is in the area, champion sound like V-Rocket, yeah. A dibby sound have to hold them corner. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. It's you now.
Big up yourself. Healing soul says so. This is the rocket from Nottingham. Send some boy out of sight. Oh yeah. Clash night, shoot out, sounded. I saw the V-Rocket do it clear out. Cub Scout, guns out. Oh yeah. Clash night, shoot out, sounded. I saw the V-Rocket do it clear out. Cub Scout, guns out. Oh yeah. This is V-Rocket sound, yeah. Sound boy get on over. Sound boy dead in them colors. Branding coffees, no flowers. Here comes another sound boy. Him dead just the same. Sound boy gone underground. A V-Rocket run the town. Clash night, shoot out, sound dead. Stay strong, yeah man. Boom bang. Healing soul. Not respect. All soul boys stay upon the fence. When you jump on dead tonight, you have to kill that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. When you jump on dead tonight, you have to kill that. Look at that. Sound boy, you are go dead in ya, cause you are idiot. Oh yeah. When you drop down dead in ya, you have to do that. Look at that. Eyes are staring, they are comparing the difference between sound and sound. Hey, let's keep on hearing, Mountie keep on chattering. They're trying to find out what V-Rocket play now. Oh yeah, but when you jump on dead tonight, V-Rocket kill that. Oh yeah.
Parliament, Val B, Lady V, Ricky Stereo, all Nottingham and surrounding countries, tell me something. Tell me if you have a picture. V-Rocket never run from a clash yet. No. Oh no. V-Rocket never run from a clash yet. No. V-Rocket sound is the champion in the lawn. V-Rocket sits up on the throne.
Lady V, this is the original Sister Nancy. Originality, V-Rocket sound. Pick up yourself, we up with England there. Have mercy, yeah. Have mercy. Tell me say one thing, V-Rocket sound him can't understand. And I one thing, V-Rocket man him can't understand. What make could them matter about him ambition? But say what make could them matter about him ambition? He not say some of them a ask him where him get it from. To them a ask him where him get it from. And I to them no know it's from creation. And I to them no know it's from creation. Grand Slam V-Rocket sound you kill them one by one. Top bum in a bang.
People by the score, I'm a side, they don't might hit the road. Sound boy, don't you come back no more.
more. Hit the road, sound boy. Don't you come back no more. The V-Rocket sound is a champion sound. Sure it is a sound that I got rule the town. Hit the road, sound boy. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, sound boy. Don't you come back no more. We let your mama get sick and your daddy start licking. Said you going out with a funky chicken. Hit the road, sound boy. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, sound boy. Don't
make them know when I laugh with people, you know. How are the rhythm there?
oh God, V-Rocket sound. Killer sound. V-Rocket. Oh, this bad sound has been around from 1964. From earth began, yes. Been through a lot of stages. Been through a lot of changes of flesh and blood. Oh yes, the rocket travel the world. Travel the world through land and seas. Travel the world. Travel the world to set my people free. Oh yes, the rocket sound climb any mountain and swing the deepest sea. Traveling the world to keep your fans intelligently. How is it taking so long for sound to pack and go on? When will they learn that the rocket sound goes down? Travel the world, travel the world, travel the world through land.
Believe me, this is the wickedest sound and it is V-Rocket. You some guy over there, sir. It's only one option that we have is to tie you in the road and let V-Rocket run over you. Cause personally, this is the original done by Baby Sam and the like that. Come!
Good man, no, I would walk a mile too. V-Rocket just be man. Now let me explain to you. V-Rocket is a hit on every corner. Gotta confess to you now, how many times we tried for murder. We've got enough to kill every sound that screechy across the border. And if ever we're given a chance, we sure to rule upon it. Now, son boy, we've got something planned for you. We're gonna tie you in the middle of the road. Let the rocket run over you. And then the dancer will have full satisfaction. And when we're done with you, you're gonna flop on every corner. Gotta confess to you, how many times we tried for murder. We've got a bill, so I know you'll get killed if you screech across the border. And if ever we're given a chance, we sure to rule up all area. Some boy, we cry for you. Although crying is a sign of weakness, but we wouldn't lie to you, no way, that you have just been defeated.